Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about business networking. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke about starting business, why businesses are important, dabbled in a little bit of networking apps, but let's really get focused on business networking. So, thankfully, I have Michael here on my show who is going to share his perspective on business networking and why it's important. So, let's dive right in. What is business networking to you? What does it make you think about when you hear those words?
Well, business networking is really, first of all, thank you. It's wonderful to be here. Um, Business networking is really synonymous with networking in life. Okay, so there's a few strategic steps you have to take when you network for business. And I'm talking about when you first meet up with somebody, or if you go to a networking event, you're giving eye contact, you're shaking their hand firmly, you're listening intently. Well, aren't you just doing that when you're meeting somebody? You really want to gain their attention, and you want them to think that they're the most important person in the world. And the way that you can do that is to give them your full attention. Now, your full attention does not mean, where is it? Your cell phone. Take your
Hmm.
cell phone, turn it off, put it away, because if that goes off, then what are they thinking? Oh, they're paying attention to the phone and not paying attention to me.
Hmm.
So business networking is that squared. Okay, so you have to do that and intense a little bit more, prepare a little bit more, but it's a way of doing a way of living, because the first thing, listen, I know I'm jumping ahead, but there's a mantra. If they know you, if they like you, if they trust you, they'll do business with you.
Hmm.
And you have to have all three in order for the last one to happen. And there's a lot of steps that you have to go through, and it's not a matter of you having to learn them or relearn them. Everybody pretty much knows what to do, but they don't do it.
Yeah. Do you think it's because of lack of emotional intelligence that people don't know how to handle business networking?
I don't think it's emotional intelligence. I just think that in a part they think like, not that they don't care, but it's not as important to them. And really, if it's not that important to you, go away, do something else. Okay,
Yeah.
because if I'm in a situation with you and you're not that connected, I'm going to win. I'm going to win the sale. I'm going to win the relationship. I'm going to win with that person moving forward. And you're going to be left in the dust.
Mm.
And that's the main difference.
Okay, okay, I see. And what got you into actually helping people and coaching people into business networking? I mean, you could have kept all your skills to yourself. So why share it with others and actually help people in this?
Well, I've been networking for over 30 years.
That's a long
Okay.
time.
So that's a long time. Um, it started when I was in the Air Force. I had to tell people that were older than I was, because I was a higher rank, what to do and how to do it. So
Hmm.
you had to do that very strategically. Then I was a proprietor. I owned pizzerias, restaurants. I went to the mortgage industry. I was in the law industry. I was a sales director and things like that. And everything has to do with networking.
That's true.
Okay. So I went through all of this, and about, 10 or 12 years ago,
Hmm.
I started to go on stages and talk about networking. But really, the pandemic really just showed me that people lost their minds. They forgot how to communicate. They forgot how to network with one another. And, the 20 somethings and 30 somethings, this is all Greek. They don't know. So they have to be taught and showed and things like that. And if they want to be a sales person, and I'm
Hmm.
talking about from the janitor to the CEO, everyone is a salesperson.
Yeah.
If they want to be better at this, then they'll listen. And about a year ago, I quit my jobs. The last place I was working was a law firm. I was a sales director. And I quit that and I said, you know what? I'm going and I'm going to spread this word out.
That's interesting. That's an interesting way to see it because you have, yeah, 30 years, different markets, different areas, different industries, but all with one similarity is that it's networking. So, what are the big when you go to these marketing events for businesses, what is the biggest mistake that you see being made over and over again?
It's really simple. Somebody will walk up and they'll immediately start talking. They'll immediately start saying, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Mike. I do this. I do that. Give me your business cards. Take my business cards. I'll catch up with you, and I'll see you later." They talk and talk and talk. When there's a series of events, when you walk up to a table,
Hmm.
you don't say anything, not a word, but you listen. You listen for the conversation. And
Okay.
is this a conversation that you want to take part of, or is it not?
Yeah.
So if it's not, very politely bow out, go to the next table. If it is, wait for your opportunity and put in your 2 cents. Now you're going there. I'm expecting you to be the expert in your field. So you're going to put that 2 cents in, and hopefully it'll be resonating enough within the certain amount of people that somebody's going to ask you a question. And that's all that you're trying to do. And you're going to answer that question. Now, I would say out of the 4 or 5 people, let's say 2 of them are really interested in what you have to say. So listen, you're going to have eye contact with them. You're going to shake their hand firmly.
Mhm.
You're going to ask them what they do. Oh, that's very interesting. Now you have to you're going to go into this thinking of a word. Okay? Think of a word. Yep. Form. FORM.
Okay.
Family, occupation, recreation, and a typical message that you can get on the same line as them. So any one of those 4 things you can relate to. So let's say, perchance, his son is in youth baseball. I was a youth baseball manager for 16 years. I was an ASA umpire. So I have that type of background. But let's say baseball came up, major leagues, youth, doesn't really make a difference. You're going to talk to them about that. Let them talk. I didn't talk yet. Okay. I'm letting them talk because people, love to talk. They love to talk about themselves. Okay. So as they're talking, that barrier is slowly but surely breaking down. And then
Yes.
you have that one-on-one conversation. And if you did your job correctly, well, let me just say, let me back up. Before you get into what you do, you turn around to them and say, you know something? I really like what you do. I like how you do it. How can I be the best referral source for you?
Huh. That's a
What can
strong
I
statement.
what can I do to help you? Because whenever you go to these network events, don't expect to get, only give. You're giving your knowledge, you're giving your referral base, you're giving everything. Okay. So he's going to say, he's very surprised, of course,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he will tell you how to become the best referral source. And if you did your job correctly, he's going to ask you for your business card. He's going to ask you what you do. And what you do, everybody heard of the 30-second elevator speech. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's been played to death. Well, that 30 seconds is down to 5.
Hmm.
You have 5 seconds. So let me tell you, my 30-second/5 second elevator speech,
Yeah.
I help professionals network and communicate more effectively and efficiently. And to network, communicate, how is that? And that's all I want them to do is ask me the question.
Yeah.
So let's say you
Hmm.
worked. Okay, you're building relationships, not clients. Okay,
Yes.
listen, clients come and go. You have something to sell, they bought it, and goodbye. And if
Yeah.
they want it again, they're gonna ask you again. But that's it. A
Yeah.
relationship is someone, I always say, let's say you're meeting them in the supermarket. A client, you're going to say, hey, Joe, hey, Mike, and keep on going.
Hmm.
But a relationship, hey, Joe, hey, how's your son? He's playing baseball, first base. You hurt his ankle. How's your son? And you
Yeah.
get into a conversation like that, and you'll be surprised at how you stick out from the field because you have something to sell or do. Well, there's 10 other people that does exactly the same thing. You're doing something to make yourself stand out.
Huh. That's interesting. But I like your concept. I like the way that you broke it down because I was going to ask, once you get the person, what are you supposed to say? You know what I mean? How do you stop yourself from rambling once you pass go? You know what I'm saying?
Practice, practice, practice. Okay, you have to stop. You have to go there and you have to listen. Don't hear them because you don't because you're going to listen, hear them, and you're going to look at your cell phone. You're going to look around the room. Oh, I want to go over there. Oh, I want to see that person. The person you're talking to is the most important person. Okay, so now let's say that everything worked, and you built that relationship. Now you're going to get his business card. Well,
Hmm.
that's great. What do you do with that business card? Well,
Yeah.
on the back of the card, write down the date, the name of the function, and something you spoke about.
Mm.
Why? Because in 2 or 3 weeks, when you again, you're going to want to know who the hell that is.
Yeah.
Okay. But the follow up is so much more important than even just meeting the person. Okay. When I do a workshop or I do a breakout session, not so much with the keynote sessions, but the breakout sessions and workshops, I really emphasize the follow up. Okay. Because the follow
Okay.
up is key. And it's certain steps that you have to take that once you take, you'll have a 95% chance of them calling you back.
Interesting. I mean, how do you know when, I mean, is it kind of like dating? You don't contact the first 24 hours? I mean, what's that time period between the follow-up that is appropriate where you don't scare them off or you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm asking?
Very simple. It's a very simple process. You
Okay.
know what? When you get back to your office or home that evening,
Okay.
you immediately write them an email. Hey,
Immediately.
yep.
Hmm.
Hey, Missy, I saw you at such and such place on such and such date. We spoke about your son, Josh. I hope to see you soon, Mike. Now, I didn't say anything about my business or your business. I didn't give you a time. I didn't give you a place, nothing. It was just a thank you for meeting me at that event. Okay. Now, here's the kicker. The next morning, the very next morning, you're going to take out a thank you card,
Okay.
handwritten thank you card. Hey Mitzi, how you doing? I saw you on such and such date, such and such an event. We spoke about your son, Josh. I hope his ankle's feeling better. I hope to have some I hope to meet you and have a cup of coffee with you later on. Sign it
Okay.
and send it. Now, between those two, I would say you're about a 60 or 70% chance of getting an email back or a call back. But
That's
let's say you
interesting.
don't.
Yeah.
Let's say you don't. Okay. So you're going to wait about 3 days. Wait about 3 days for them to get that thank you note. Okay. So three, maybe even 4 days. You're going to write them another email. Hey, Mitzi, how you doing? I just wanted to say thank you for meeting me. I looked at my schedule and I'd love to have a cup of coffee with you. I'm free next Tuesday or Wednesday. How's Tuesday?
Mhm.
So you're kind of forcing
Like
the hand
narrowing. Yeah.
and you're narrowing it down. Okay. So now that will increase the response rate. Now, when I say response rate, positive or negative, doesn't make a difference as long as you're responding. Okay. So let's say they don't respond even after that. So you wait till after the weekend. So you're in your second week now. You send another email. Hey, I'm just touching base with you. I wanted to grab a cup of coffee with you. My schedule was clear for Tuesday at 3 o'clock. How was that for you? Okay. Now, I would say you have about a 90% chance of getting a call back or an email back, something, anything. If you don't, very simple. You take their information. They obviously don't want to talk to you. You did something and who knows what. You put their information into your CRM
Okay.
and you put them onto a drip campaign with a mailing list or something else like that.
Okay.
But for those people that did answer you and you meet for that cup of coffee, well, now that's something else. So you're going to meet them, let's say at a bagel shop. You're going to sit down. Hey, Mitzi, how you doing? By the way, how's your son? Immediately have them start talking about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to feel that one-on-one connection with you. Now, you already know what they do for a living, and you already know what you do for a living. So you have to figure out what a problem that they have and how you're going to solve it. So when you start talking business, you start talking about their problem and how you can solve it.
I see. I see what you're saying. That's interesting. So I guess who are the right people to actually go to business networking events? Because I've spoken with people and um some have said anybody and everybody as long as you have something to share with the world. What do you think on that? Is that true?
Well, it depends on the networking event. Everybody shouldn't go to every networking event. Okay, because there are marketing networking events, there are networking events, there are sales networking events. So if you're going there, and you are not selling anything and you're going to a sales networking event, mm, the probability of you coming away with those business cards are not very likely.
That's true.
But so if you do a little prep work, you read about the networking event. They usually give out some sort of table layout flyer, something else like that. You pick where you really want to go and the people you want to meet, so you have that in the back of your mind. But when you walk into that networking event, it's open season. Okay, you have to pick and choose, and don't be afraid to bow out of that conversation and go into another one, because your time is valuable and you shouldn't walk away with more than, let me restate this. Your business cards. Don't go there and start handing out your business cards. Treat your business cards as if they're money. Okay?
Hmm.
So only because, listen, I was at a table one time. I tell this story all the time. I was at a networking table with 4 or 5 people, and a guy came up. Hey, how you doing? I'm John so and so. I have whatever. I have business cards here. Take my business card. Let me have each one of your business cards. Listen, I want to talk with each and every one of you, but I'll talk with you later. I'll see you later. Bye. Like in 3 minutes, he came, he saw, he handed out cards, he took our cards, and he left. That's the biggest mistake. So what do we all do? We all sit there, looked at the card. We're like, what? And we threw it out.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Okay. Okay. Well, so you have to really treat those business cards like they're money.
So what
You
do you
hand
do
them
with
out.
what do you do when you go to these networking events and they have you put your business card on a table and then you're just supposed to like scam through them? Is that, I mean, with what you just said, it sounds like that's not the best practice either, because if you're supposed to treat your business cards like money and like they're precious to you and you want to make sure that they're given to the right people that are actually going to benefit you and your goals and vice versa, then it sounds like that's not the best practice.
Well, it is. Let's say you go to a networking event and they say, put your business cards on the table. Okay. I'll do it. Okay. Because that's what they want. But I'll put about 5 business cards.
Okay.
I'll
Just
put a
very
minimal
little.
amount. I'll put
Yeah.
them on there because usually if you see the people put on massive amounts of business cards, none of
Yeah.
them are taken. Okay. If my cards were taken, then they were interested in what I had to sell.
Yeah.
So I would just put that amount and then I would, I'd keep them close by, but I'd go around and I would target specific people that I want to network with.
Hmm.
I'd walk
That's
up and
interesting.
say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Michael. You are? Great.
Yeah,
What do you do?" And you start that conversation like that. This
very
is
good.
really, it's really for extroverts, not
Yeah,
introverts. Okay.
yeah.
Now, I've been asked, I'm an introvert, but I want to go to a networking event because I want to
Mm-hmm.
increase my sales. How do
Mm-hmm.
I do that? I'm an inside salesperson. I deal with people on the phone, whatever, but I want to go to networking events. I told you I was in the Air Force.
Yeah.
So I call this using a wingman. Okay. You bring
Okay.
somebody with you. I always say go to a networking event alone, by
Okay.
yourself. Okay. But in this case, you're going to go with somebody. You're going to go with somebody who knows your business, knows you. And when you walk up to that table, listen to that conversation, say, you know what, that's very interesting. Mitzi, you know all about that. You want to tell us a little bit about that? And you start to talk.
Oh, tag teaming. I like that.
That's it. That's it. And okay, so you go to the next table, they do this very same thing. Now, the first night, you're not going to break out of that shell.
Yeah.
Okay. But by the second networking event, third networking event, by the fourth networking event, you can really fly on your own.
Mm,
Okay. Because if you're not used to networking, that first event, you're going to screw up. Okay. You can do everything wrong. Okay.
yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Go to the next one. And I always say, put the networking event on your calendar, like you're going to go. Start
Yeah.
out small. Okay. Go to a Chamber of Commerce networking event, an after hours networking event. Okay. And start that way.
Yeah. Walk or just walk in. You know what I mean? Put your
Yeah.
presence out there. You never know who somebody would just try to grab your attention just because you're new and they don't see you before. You never know. I like that.
You never know. Now, if it's a chamber event and you go fairly frequently and you see somebody walk in and they're
Yeah.
like a wallflower, like
Yeah.
they're really not, this, I call this be the host, not the guest.
Mm,
You walk up to them, say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Mike. What's your name? What do you do?" "Oh, you know what? Let me introduce you to these people because they are really much in line with what you do." So you'll walk them over, introduce them because you've been there before, and have them get into the conversation. And that's getting everybody into it. And you'll be surprised how that one person will remember you as being the host.
there you go. I like that. And that makes us such a big difference when somebody just approaches you and you're scared and you're nervous and you're unsure and somebody welcomes you in and gives you this sense of peace and ease. It's a totally different feeling where it's like, you know what, this is not that bad. And it helps ignite something in you that it's like you want to do it for somebody else. And I love how you said you got to be the giver, you got to be the person that's on that mindset of what can I give? What can I give instead of what can I gain? Because the more you give, eventually you will gain something in return,
You'll,
So
it all comes around. It will
yeah,
all come around. But if you give, you'll realize that more and more people will recognize you as giving, not as
exactly.
receiving.
Exactly. And people like to be around other people who are givers just because it feels more comfortable than people who are takers because you always feel like, oh, what do I have to give them? Or you know what I mean? It's frustrating. But I'm to get back on the business networking. I want to know your opinions on marketing. You know what I mean? For a business to thrive, how important is marketing? And would you consider networking a form of marketing?
Okay, marketing is very important. It is probably one of the most important aspects of business. Now, most people, most businesses think, well, I'm doing so well, I don't have to market. I'm not doing well this time, so let me market even more.
Yeah.
Both of those are mistakes. Okay.
Okay.
You have to say, okay, I have a marketing budget and I'm doing super well right now, but I'm going to stay with it because the peaks and valleys of your business will be less, will look like a wave instead of a really big peak and valley. Okay, so to keep that more moderated, more the same, you have to keep your marketing budget and marketing all within the same thing. So it's really one of the biggest mistakes that a business can make is to stop their marketing
Mm,
because they're doing well. Then all of a sudden, they're not going to do as well, and they realize that they have to make up for all the time that they lost.
yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
so that's how. And now networking is a part of marketing. I always say that marketing and sales work together with networking because when
Mhm.
you network, yes, you're trying to sell a service or a product or something else. Okay, but what are you doing? You're marketing your brand. Okay, you're marketing your what you have to sell, do, and well, who are you? Who's your name? Okay, well, I'm Michael Forman. Okay, well, what company are you with? Are you with Procter and Gamble, or are you with the Forman Group? Let me know.
Mhm.
So that's why
Mhm.
it's so important. And marketing is a very important aspect of business.
That's good. That's good to know. So it sounds like consistency is the key to this when it comes to marketing, is to staying
Absolutely.
consistent despite what goes around. So how do you stay consistent while trying to evolve at the same time?
Well, your marketing budget will change for the better. Okay, you're going to start out with a small marketing budget. If you're by yourself and you
Hmm.
really don't have a whole lot of money, then you really have to be very specific and you don't have a true marketing budget. Okay. But you know that you have to put a certain dollars and cents to
Hmm.
that. Okay. Then you get a, and you say, okay, I can put $200 to a marketing budget. Okay. I'm going to earmark $200 just for marketing. It can be social media, it could be paper, whatever. But
Hmm.
$200. Then, if you get a little bit bigger, then you may up your marketing budget to $300 or $400 a month. Okay. Really try not to go backwards because if you have a bad month, you don't say, well, I got to, stop my marketing.
Hmm.
Okay. You just have to wake it, just wear it through and just keep consistent with the money that you're spending and
Yeah.
the type of marketing that you're doing.
Very good. I like that. I like that very much. I'm curious. If you could tell your younger self anything, what would you tell your younger self? Because you've learned so much, you've evolved so much, you've done so much. What would you tell your younger self?
Well, if I can tell myself to, like I said, I've been through a lot. I've
Mm-hmm.
been through the Air Force, owning a pizzeria, a restaurant, mortgage, law. I've been through all these companies and everything else. I was even uh, the manager of Dick's Sporting Goods of the golf section. Okay, because I
Oh,
love golf.
oh,
Okay, so everything helped me negotiate my skills so that I could be where I am today. So if I can tell myself, I would say start to think about all of this sooner. Okay. Because I
mm,
made a whole lot of mistakes leading up to this point. Listen,
okay.
I'm sitting down now, I'm giving you some really good advice, some really good advice. But 20 years ago, I didn't have all this.
Yeah,
Who knew? I didn't know.
exactly.
So I would tell myself to think about it a little bit more.
I like that. Can't go wrong with just thinking about it sooner than later, right? See, nothing wrong with thinking about it. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys want to know more about Michael, I have access to his website and all of the goodness that he has to offer to you and to help you keep on thinking about business marketing and and just marketing yourself and your business and knowing what direction you need to go with. He's a great help. Obviously, you can see he has keynotes, he has breakout sessions, he has workshops, one-on-one coaching. I mean, he's here to help you in what you need. Doesn't matter if you're extrovert, introvert, doesn't matter. As long as you know you need help, he's here to help. So why not get it from him? So check him out. And as always keep thinking, y'all. Bye.